Welcome back, everyone, to Hey Babe, Can We Talk? With me, your host and bestie, Drea Renee. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the place for the hot mess expresses, the black sheeps of love, and for those who just can't seem to get it right when it comes to matters of the heart. I am you, you are me, we are one, and if no one else gets you, I do. And if you're returning, I missed you, and we're going to have a great episode. On today's episode, we have Rafael Gomez in the house with us today, you guys, host of the Women on Men podcast, and we're going to be talking about why men aren't approaching women today and dating in real life versus dating on the apps. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit the like, follow, and subscribe down below and comment because I love to hear from you. So without further ado, let's get into it with Rafael Gomez.
Hello.
Yay! Rafael, you're here.
I'm here.
On the right day.
Yeah, I came on the wrong day once.
But you're here on the right day.
Yeah, and it's better this way.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your Instagram.
Thank you.
It's amazing, the red pill antidote. Tell us all about it and how it got started.
Yeah, so I was seeing red pill content, just like a lot of men, and it was really bothering me what I was seeing, and I started to fear for what young men were being fed, basically. Didn't match my reality, and I think there's a reason a lot of young men today are single, and I think red pill is a big part of it. So I created my channel to give a different perspective and show that not all women are a monolith, and there's different requirements for women. So that's why I started to help young men basically figure out dating.
And tell us a little bit about, I know what red pill is, but for the listeners who don't know, what is the red pill mindset? I just figured this out about 2 years ago with a guy I was seeing.
Oh.
And I know it was not a great journey.
Oh, man.
And he started just saying little things, and I was like, do you like women?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
Yeah, red pills, it's kind of taken a life of its own. There's all these different sects of it. But basically, it's become like a philosophy where men kind of see women as an obstacle to dating. They see them more as like an adversary. They kind of blame women for the current situation in dating. They also blame feminism a lot for basically women now have their own agency and their own choice. So I know. So they see this sexual marketplace as uneven, and that's made a lot of men kind of bitter and angry.
Yeah, and is this the same thing as the incels, or is the red pill different?
That's a part of it. There's like a Venn diagram. Incels are a part of the red pill. There's also like the men's right advocates, and there's also the black pill, which is people who, there's a
lot of pills.
Life. There's a lot of pills. I don't understand it. We're over medicated.
We're over medicated.
Yeah, I think, there's so many different versions of it now, and there's kind of like a pipeline. So basically when young men join YouTube or they join any of these channels within days, they're going to get some kind of red pill content, whether it's Andrew Tate, whether it's Fresh and Fit, whether it's the Whatever podcast. And a lot of guys see it innocently too. Like some guys who don't know how to date, they'll type in like how to get a girlfriend, and then they'll start listening to these influencers. Then they get suggestions on these other things, and it becomes a pipeline. And if all you're doing is spending your time online, then that's all you're hearing. Yeah,
it's so interesting because once I started this podcast and doing all the research, finding all these influencers and men who are saying all these crazy things about women, right? Yep. And if you've had a couple bad experiences, this stuff is just staying with you, and now they're spewing out all this rhetoric and affecting like so many young men.
Exactly.
And it's really, really sad. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah. If you're not dating, if you're struggling with dating and you're hearing that women are to blame, then that's going to be internalized, and you're going to feel that way everywhere you go.
For everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea about any of this, right? Yeah. I'm just out here living my life, doing my thing. And then once I started this podcast, I started hearing about all these dynamics, the masculine and the feminine, how you're showing up, the red pill. The black pill is kind of a new thing for me. I don't know about the black pill.
Basically, the black pill is guys who've given up, basically.
Oh.
They feel like if you didn't win the genetic lottery, you're done. Like you're a defeatist. You're just like, I can't do it. I'm not 6 foot tall. I don't look good. It's over for me.
It's over for me.
Yeah.
So is this part of the loneliness epidemic then? Because there's a big talk about that right now, right?
Yeah.
That men are more lonely than ever. They're not having sex as much. Right. So is that a part of it?
It is a big part of it. If you look at people under 30, Pew Research is reporting that men are 34%, only 34% of men under 30 are in relationships versus like 62% of women. So it's a big change. That's the biggest gap we've seen in young people. So the relationship aspect for men is definitely one aspect of why they're lonely, but there's also, they spend all their time online, gaming, porn, OnlyFans, all this other stuff. So they're not going out socializing and making real connections and making real friends. And that's a big part of why men are also feeling a bit lonely.
It's making me really scared with technology because with AI, I'm not going to lie. The other day, my friend sent me something with an AI boyfriend. And I was like, Well,
You fell in love.
I mean, can I program him to tell me all the things I need to say? You know what I mean? But it is scary because it's like, no, at the end of the day, I do want to have a human connection, have human real interactions versus somebody that I just told what to do. You know what I mean?
I think that's most people, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
I hope.
everybody wants real connection. I think a lot of people don't know how to do it. I think a lot of young men don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I think they're missing out. And I think deep down they all want that. But they're kind of being told it's impossible in some ways.
Right.
If you're not 6 foot, if you're not rich, if you're not a high value man, that's what a lot of these guys tell these guys. That's when they start to feel the black pill. They're like, well, I'm not a high value man. I just, work a normal job. I'm not the best looking guy in the world. So I feel like I don't have a chance. And this is not true.
That's not true.
Yeah.
So is that part of the messaging you want to show to these men with your platform?
Exactly. I ask women questions like, would you date somebody under 6 foot? Would you date somebody who makes less money than you? Would you date? And all these women are like, yeah, of course. And the guys are like, they're lying. And it's like they believe they're lying because it doesn't validate their preconceptions that they've been hearing through the red pill stuff.
Well, it's so interesting because with the, rise of social media and everyone's online and believing every single thing that they see, I do understand that to some degree because people see these lifestyles, these women with all this makeup on and they look fit and these men with jacked abs and you start to think, even as women, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. And so I do understand to some degree because some women then are like, well, I need to get that guy. Yeah. So if you aren't these things, then I don't want to date you.
Absolutely.
Right? And we're getting fed so much stuff in the algorithm.
Yeah, women are being fed that too. You're right. A lot of women say, they have these standards. And I think men hear that too. Women will say, I only want a guy over 6 foot. He has to make, I've heard crazy numbers, like he has to make $1 million a year. And it's like, okay.
Inflation, I guess.
Right. Yeah, inflation.
You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
That's it?
What?
But only 14% of men in the United States are above 6 foot tall. But
is it really 14%?
14%.
Dang.
And it's less in other parts of the world. Like, we're kind of tall.
Not Germany.
Oh, the Germans are tall, maybe.
Not Germany, y'all.
But because of that, it's like there's this overinflated sense of like how many 6 foot tall men are even available.
Right.
But Pew Research is also reporting that 69% of people are in relationships. So if only 14% of men are over 6 foot, 69% of people are in relationships, the math doesn't really add up. People are dating people under 6 foot. It just is happening.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are things where it's like, this is ideally what I want. Right. But my ex was 5'9". Right. And so I met him online.
Oh, nice.
And it was so interesting because I remember seeing that he was 5'9", and my friend was like, just match with him, babe. I was like, oh, I don't know. And then we were together for 4 years.
Right.
A crazy 4 years, mind you.
That's a long time, though, these days.
We were, right. I mean, I get past a week with someone, and I'm like, I do. Like, ring it up, baby. But yeah, so it's like there are definitely men I've seen in person. I remember I was out at the grocery store and I saw this guy and he was not a tall guy, but there was something about his essence that I found really attractive. Right. And I thought I might have missed this if we were online.
Exactly.
But he just gave, I'm a man.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, okay, help me find the avocados.
I mean, think about it. They're over there. But I think if you're on a dating app and you get to like, I want to make my ideal selection, you get to choose those filters. You're like, I want somebody above. And I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Like, of course, like if somebody says, would you rather make more money or less money? You're like, I'm going to pick more money. Like, that's just an option that's available to you. But in real life, there's a lot more things that can make men attractive.
Yes.
I wrote a book recently called The Attraction Handbook, which is 50 pages of helping men figure it out. The first level I talk about is getting off the dating apps for men. Because I think dating apps for men are a complete losing game. All you have is your looks and your photos and maybe a little bio, and that's not going to be enough. Just like the guy you met at the grocery store, confidence is one of the most attractive things you can have. Doesn't matter how tall you are, doesn't matter anything. It's like you have such a sense of self, you have such self-respect, and you believe in yourself, and that people feel that. And that's what I try to get men to do is figure out ways to become more confident within themselves, doing, things that are actionable. You can't change your height, but you can change how you feel about yourself.
And it's so true because I've seen men that, they aren't that tall, but they've worked on themselves. They're working out. They have great jobs and they walk in and still can command a room. And you're kind of like, oh,
exactly.
Who's that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I've heard stories of women who say, I only want a 6 foot tall guy, but then they're at a bar and some 5'6" guy is flirting with her and she's into it. And well, the rest is history. So you can have these preferences, but in real life, vibe and personality matter a lot.
Personality matters so much. If you can make me laugh, it's like, forget about it.
Yeah, humor is is one of the best aphrodisiacs. If you can make a girl laugh, you got a good shot.
So tell us more about the book.
Yeah. So it's called The Attraction Handbook. It's 50 pages of telling men how to basically build confidence step by step, and then how to eventually go out and approach women. I'm trying to get men to build the confidence and build their physical self, build their mental self, learn to trust themselves, and do all of that prior to going out and trying to meet women. Because I think if you build that foundation, you can take rejection better. You can go up, you can be brave enough to go talk to a woman. So if you build up step by step these confidence factors, then you'll be able to then talk to a woman and then proceed to a date. I tell men everything from how to approach a woman to how to follow up with the next text, how to do all that, just very basic stuff. And teach them how to have the self-respect to be, again, handling rejection is one of the biggest things that I'm trying to get men to understand, because they're afraid of rejection, which I understand, who isn't? But when you realize it doesn't really say anything about you, it could be about where that person is in that day or where they are in their life. It doesn't have to be anything about you. And if you say, no problem, have a nice night, you have a good interaction. I've even seen women, when you respond like that, say, well, I'm not available, but I got a friend and you seem like you're, a decent guy, so let me introduce you. Taking rejection well is like one of the best things you can do. It shows you're confident, it shows you have self-respect, and it makes the woman feel safe when you're approaching her.
It does show that you have self-respect, and just it's a respectable thing to do, because, one of the things we're talking about today is why men are not approaching women anymore. Right. I mean, it is difficult to do a cold open.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, for me, if I like a guy, I am not sly. I'm just like,
well, that's enough.
They know. Yeah. I'm like, come on over here, or I'm going to go over there.
Right.
Whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I'm like. But I remember when I was going out with my girlfriends a lot, and a guy would come over, and one of my girls would be kind of rude. Mm-hmm. And I would say to her, I'm like, it takes a lot to go over to a group of women and be like, hey, ladies, what's going on? And even if it's a guy like that I wasn't interested in, unless he was doing something that was like, annoying, I'm just like, hey, thank you so much, but, we're not interested. But I'm not going to be rude to someone, because you don't know what that guy is going through. Right. We don't know what it took for him to go over to us, 4 women sitting down and be like, hey, ladies, how's it going?
That's brave as hell.
It really is.
Yeah.
And my friend's like, can you come back? And I'm like, girl, leave it. Stop.
Yeah, I think being confident and being a risk taker is attractive. And I think those are things that can win a woman over. But I tell men, if you approach respectfully and take rejection with grace, those are the only things in your control. And if you do that, you're set. Even if they're rude to you, that's on them. Like, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing. I think it's okay to approach somebody respectfully. It also is like, look for signs. Like, are they in the middle of a conversation? Or do they have headphones in? Is their partner nearby? Like, those are things you need to look for first. But if you get a yellow light, which is somebody kind of glancing, maybe go approach. If you get a green light, like someone straight up making eye contact, that's a green light. You step on the gas pedal and you go. Yeah. But I'm hearing women do that and still not get approached. Like, I do a lot of stitches on my TikTok of women saying, I made eyes with this guy, even at the gym, and they don't come talk to me.
Yes, that happens a lot too. And I wanted to ask you about this too, this idea of the masculine feminine, right? So do I go over to the guy, which I do, but
good for
you
you.
know what? I do. I'm very forward. Like,
for you.
No guy has ever dated me and wondered if I like them. Like, no, she's Drea is into me.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm
that's
clear.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm always clear. I don't really know how to play games. Every time I try to be cool and not answer, I'm like, I'm sorry, hello, I'm here. I don't know why I did that. That's just not who I am. But for like, whatever, the average woman, whatever, broad stroke, I think this idea of just like, being cool with the guy, like, I just don't know how to do that.
No,
I just want to be clear.
I don't think that's necessarily what you should do either.
Okay.
I have a chapter in the book called Be Direct, Be Vulnerable, which is basically like, if you are putting yourself out there as clearly as you can, you're going to get what you want faster. Because if somebody isn't into it, well, then that's not the person you need to be talking to.
Thank you.
You go to the next one. You just move on like that. But if you're playing these games and you're kind of wasting time and it's just not kind of like solidifying into anything, it's not going to work for anybody. So I highly encourage men. It's vulnerable to go up to somebody and say, hey, I'm interested in you. It's vulnerable to ask somebody on a date. It's vulnerable to do all these things. And that's going to be the quickest way for everyone to get what they want, is if you're as direct as possible. So I encourage that, honestly.
So you think it's okay for a woman to go up to the guy?
I absolutely
It doesn't have
think
to
it's
be
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind at all if a woman approached me. I don't know how every guy feels about that necessarily. Has any guy reacted weird when you've done that?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that would make a lot of guys happy.
They're like, thank you for coming over to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of women might not be attracted to a guy if the guy doesn't have the confidence to approach.
Yeah.
I think that's something else that guys need to understand. And a lot of guys in my comments will say, well, why don't women approach? It's like, Don't worry about what women are doing. Figure out what you are doing. Like, are you giving yourself as many chances to date as possible? And if you're not, then waiting for women to do it, you're going to miss out. You know, you're just going to be left on the sideline.
That right there is so the vibe.
Yeah.
Because I always say when people are going on dates now, I feel like there's this undertone of everyone sitting there like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, well, what you gonna do? Well, I'm not calling you. Well, I'm not calling you.
Crazy.
It blows my mind. And my girlfriend went on a date and she really liked the guy.
Yeah.
She's like, he really liked me. And then just no one said anything.
That's
They
wild.
had fireworks. It was amazing. And she's like, well, I'm not calling him. And I guess he thought the same thing. And then it just went away.
No, that's crazy. I think I encourage men to go after what they want. I think one of the ways confidence appears is through assertiveness, which is basically like, I'm here and I'm allowed to be here and it's cool for me to be here. So like I'm going to pursue what I'm after, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's only going to, again, get you closer to what you're looking for. So if you're waiting for someone to play a game, you're going to lose. But if you play the game your way, you have more chances to win.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I always say you really can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If somebody likes you, they're going to make concessions for you. Because I know there are many times online that people do not check my boxes, but I'm like, he's cute.
Right.
There's a beard. I'll work it out. It's fine.
You'll
Do you know what I mean? You'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you like the person enough, a lot of things kind of go by the wayside.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
But these guys are just like, well, they feel like it's not fair that women, like, well, women are equals now, so they should approach. And it's like, that's crazy. First off, like, even in like the animal world, there's different ways to attract the other, gender. So like peacocks have to show their feathers. If they don't show their feathers, they're not getting a date. And so you're going to be upset. Like the peacock's not upset that he has to do that. That's just part of dating.
That's
and so
part
like,
of dating.
It's part of attraction. And a part of attraction is being confident enough to go get what you want. And that's talking to a woman that you're interested in.
Exactly. What is that thing, right? We're talking about, like, if I see a man and he walks in the room and he just exudes this what do you think that is? Like, what does it come from?
Yeah.
And to those listening right now, like maybe the guy doesn't have the confidence, like what would you tell him to do first?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things you have to do. One, I think your physical appearance is a big part of it. You look good, you feel good. You don't need to be a bodybuilder, but take care of yourself. Health is a good sign of like your attraction. If you're healthy, if you look healthy, that's more attractive. I do think you need to work out. I also think you need to go to therapy. I think your mental understanding yourself fully is going to be so attractive, because then you accept parts of yourself that maybe you don't like, and you learn about yourself in a way that you can feel so comfortable in your skin that that's where confidence comes from. It comes from basically a grounded belief in yourself that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. Not that you're perfect, not that you're great, but that you believe enough in yourself that someone else's opinion of you doesn't really faze you.
Oh, I know.
And
I love that.
Yeah, and it's hard to get there. I'm not saying it's easy, but there are ways to do it. You can't change your height, but I promise you can change your confidence. You can build up to it by doing step by step, and eventually you'll believe in it. You'll trust yourself. You'll say, man, yesterday I couldn't, I said I was going to go to the gym and I went to the gym. That makes me feel better. I said I was going to learn how to play guitar. Now I play guitar. That makes me feel better about myself. So doing these things will help you build confidence. And so then when you like yourself, which is the most important part of it, if you don't like both people in the relationship, it's not going to work. Like, you have to like yourself as well. And if you don't like yourself, they're not going to like you either.
Yeah.
So it's important to like yourself, and there's ways to develop that.
Yeah, I think it really is important to take that time to figure out what it is that you do like, what makes you tick, going into therapy, realizing like what your traumas are.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, when I was younger, I would go on dates as my 7-year-old self.
Yeah.
And just give all my trauma to blank.
Exactly.
But I didn't know that I was doing that. Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of things we do that we don't realize we're doing until you start to uncover that in therapy or reading. And, if you can't afford therapy, there's plenty of books too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've read Feeling Good by Dr. David Burns. Is a great like therapy book you can do on your own and like do a lot of the exercises yourself, and you realize all these distortions you tell yourself. And there's ways to do that. There's ways to, but when you understand why you are the way you are, you're able to navigate the world a bit better.
Yeah, and understanding that tape that just plays in the back subconsciously, that sometimes we're tapped into and sometimes we're not, but it shows up in what we're doing every day. Like you said, taking care of yourself.
Exactly.
And one thing I would like to put a little button on for a minute is hygiene. Yeah. I don't know if you focus on that in your book.
In the appearance, I talk about it.
Hygiene.
I say, I hate that I have to even write this part, but there's so many men that overlook this. Like, it's crazy. I've had so many women tell me that they like the guy until they smelled his breath. Or
Listen.
Like, yeah, it's just, or they just don't wash every part of themselves.
They don't.
Let's wash. Like, it's so simple. And that's what I emphasize. Like, this is totally an easy win. Like, it's absolutely, it's a freebie. Like, we can do this one. Anyone can do this one.
I mean, I'm like, what happened at home?
Yeah.
What happened? I
floss.
asked this guy that I was seeing for a bit if he flossed, and he looked at me like I was speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
And I was like, we've been making out and you don't floss? I knew something was off.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't understand.
Me neither.
And then just showering.
Showering.
Me having to tell a grown man, hey, babe, we played golf all day. That was 7 hours. Get out of my bed. Go to the shower. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that.
You shouldn't have to.
Hey, babe, did we brush our teeth today? We didn't. Okay, well, why don't we cycle back to the bathroom? Like, what are we doing? It's 42.
Even some grooming things, you know, like some people have messy beards or like they don't take care of their hair. They don't take care of their skin. You know, that's another thing. Like I encourage men to take care of their skin too. There's a lot of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can still be an alpha male and put on a little moisturizer. Yeah. Like it's going to be okay.
Exactly.
But even just your home, if you're bringing a woman over to your home, because when I go to somebody's bathroom, I'm like,
yep.
What is this? You know what I mean? Yep. Just clean it up a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
If guys are left to their own devices, their apartments are just bad.
It really is wild.
I was one of them. Don't get me wrong. I was one of them.
Yeah.
You know, it took a woman's touch for me to realize that you don't have to live in filth.
You don't. You really don't. But it's so important. Yeah. And it's something for me that even if I did like someone, at this point, I don't want to tell a grown man about his hygiene.
No.
I really don't.
No, I think men, I encourage them in the book to come prepared to date. Like, if you're not ready, don't start. Like, you need to build up a lot of things in yourself. Then when you're out there, it's going to work better. Because when you're on the date, you've already worked through a lot of your trauma. You've already worked through a lot of your insecurities. And now you're a confident person who can have a conversation and not worry about the outcome. You're just having the conversation. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then you know that's not on you. You just move on.
Right.
So, yeah, you have to, I think, get ready to be ready to date.
Exactly. So I want to go back to dating in real life versus dating online. So you're saying to men, get off the apps altogether and get outside.
Yeah. If dating apps are working great for you, I guess keep doing it.
Okay.
But for most men, it's not working. And yes, you need to get more social. You need to meet people in real life. There are so many more attractive qualities about yourself that can shine in person versus what you're getting online. I have a belief that if I meet a girl at a bar and get her phone number, versus meeting that same girl on a dating app and getting her number, that she's more likely to flake on the dating app than she would be if I met her in real life and followed up in text. Because at least in real life, she's heard my voice. She's seen my posture. She's seen, my hygiene. She's seen all this stuff. And that's already kind of like a first date. It's like a mini first date where it's like, okay, I already get a vibe of this person. And I think that's going to be a lot better than someone you kind of met on an app and you're going to flake and you're like, I don't really feel like doing it. It's like, it's better for men to meet in real life, because if you don't feel like you have the best appearance, if your confidence, your personality, your humor shine, that's going to get you a better chance of getting a date than anything you're going to see on an app. Yeah,
and it's so interesting going from like making the match, writing each other in the app, getting the number, talking on the phone, meeting in person. What are their pheromones like?
Right.
I mean, there's just so many things. Like you said, like how do they walk? How do they talk? I remember I was going on a date with this guy. We were going to get coffee. And normally I always chat with people on the phone first, because I got to hear, I always have a conversation. I have a whole vetting process. Whole vetting process. Cool. Like, listen, I'm not sitting here wanting to talk to you on the app for 2 weeks. Hey, how's it doing? How's your good morning? You don't care and I don't care. Okay, let's be honest. Hilarious. All right, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
We're getting on the text, and I really try to be in my feminine Rafael and just wait for them to be like, hey, let's get on a phone call. But after a couple of days, I'm like, hey, can we talk? Like, what's happening here?
That's crazy.
So I was going to meet this guy for coffee, and he was just in the area. And I was like, you know what? Yes, let's meet for coffee. It was literally 3 minutes from my house. And then I was like, wait a second. Let me call him real quick. So we get on the phone. Rafael. He goes, hey, Drea, how's it going? And I was like, oh, no.
I'm losing you. I got to.
Listen, he was like, I'm really excited to meet you. I mean, and he looked like a man.
Impression.
I started to be like, were his pictures fake? Like, this is the voice that was going with this photo? I could not believe it. I said, you know what, Blank? Listen, a work thing just came up. I am so sorry. He said, well, I'd love to reschedule. I was like, well, you go back to Disney. And you do your, go back to Disney.
I don't know what character that is.
Go back to whatever character it is that you need to play today, and the date is not happening. I'm so sorry. But thank God, because it's, look, we heard before, someone was saying that women are making men pay for the dates, that they go on $1,000 to go on the date.
Yeah.
Now, look, that's extreme. Not really feeling that vibe. We're both human beings, right? We're both taking a risk to go on this experience.
Yes.
But I am grateful that I didn't put on my makeup and go have this coffee date.
Yeah.
You know what? Because
that's a lot
I
of
can't,
time investment, emotional investment.
Exactly.
It's a lot. It's a mental investment. Yeah, it's a lot to meet somebody, realize pretty quickly you don't like them, and then have to figure out what you're gonna do.
I can't marry that voice.
Right.
I cannot marry that voice.
If you know,
period.
It's just, you can't. So that's why I do encourage men, not only when they meet somebody in real life, but like, don't text the good morning or how you doing. Just say, hey, it was nice meeting you. Are you free next week? I'm thinking of taking you X.
Period.
Done.
Point blank.
And if they say, I'm free, let's do it. You made a plan. You basically were assertive. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. And then, hopefully she shows up. But that's all you got to do.
That's another thing, too.
Yeah.
I think it's so easy to flake and to ghost. And I talk a lot about this on the show where we're just losing the value of it being another human being. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, we're all having an experience on these dates, right?
Yes.
And because of this podcast, I've become more interested in the male experience.
Okay.
On the financial side. It's not just like, oh, let me go through my checklist of everything that this guy did.
Right.
But it's like, if you are a man and you're dating, especially today, it's expensive.
It is.
You do need to be a little bit more discerning. And then I'm not the type of woman that gets offended if a guy's like, oh, let's go on a coffee date.
Right.
Let's go on a walk. Because I don't know if I like you either.
Right.
So I don't want to sit there for 2 hours. I can buy my own steak.
Put on a nice
You know what I
outfit or
mean?
something like that.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
don't want
need
to do
all
that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we show up, I'm like, boop, 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 boop. Absolutely not.
And you kind of know immediately.
Let me get my latte. I'm out of here.
Right.
You know?
I encourage men who, want to be a little bit, maybe they don't have a ton of money. I don't think you have to be rich to date. So, but I do think that a lot of men here online don't take a woman to coffee. And I can agree to that to some point. I think it should be more like, hey, there's this coffee shop by this park. You want to get a coffee and take a walk. Just a little plan, just a little kind of experience more than just sitting down at a coffee shop. I think that goes a lot further. And it also, again, like you said, the stakes are a lot lower for both people in that scenario.
And we talked about effort, right?
Yeah, effort, exactly.
And so, listen, if you've been on the dating apps, we all know those people that we get really excited about. And then those are people that it's like a 5-6. You're like, oh, if he messages me back, great. If not, whatever, right? And so that effort then shows up in your interaction. And sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh my God, this guy is way better or this woman's way better in person.
Yeah.
But you got to make that effort. Yeah. And what I struggle with sometimes with online dating is like allowing the man to lead those things. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I like someone, we're chatting and it's like he wants to be a pen pal. Do I tap out or do I say, hey, blank, do you want to hang out?
Yeah, I think it depends on how badly you want to see this person. If you really want to see this person, I think it's okay to be forward.
Okay.
But I think it's men's responsibility, in my opinion, to attract, and it's women's responsibility to choose. So men need to be the ones attracting, and that often requires more forward, direct conversation. It requires being assertive. It requires saying, after my second date with my wife, I told her, hey, I want to see you every Saturday going forward for at least for a little while. And I said, just keep Saturday nights free. Like I told her straight up, and she found it charming. I think she was like, okay, that's a bit much, but it showed my effort, my intention, what I was looking for. I knew what I wanted, and I wanted to keep going.
Second date. See,
yeah.
If you know,
That's
men make plans if they like you.
Yeah.
No, circle back.
Yeah. If I like you, I'm gonna make every effort. But the minute you stop texting me back, then I know I got the hint. Okay, that's enough. But I'm not gonna continue.
You're not gonna continue.
No. I tell men if they don't send you a follow-up text, don't even do a second text. But if you really want them or the vibe was really strong, eventually send another one. That's about the limit I tell men to do.
Okay.
But if she's not responding to you, don't harass her. Don't, it's over.
If she was
interested to you, if she was interested in you, she texts you back.
It's always just clear though, right? Yeah. I feel like if you're confused, there isn't clarity, there's your answer.
Exactly.
Especially with men, right? Because I feel like women, we kind of tend to lead with our hearts. We're a little bit more comfortable there. But when a man really likes you, and he's like, this is what I want to do, they say things like, leave your Saturdays open.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you're married.
And now I'm married.
When did you know? Did you know quickly? This is something that I'm so fascinated by. Some men are like, I knew within whatever that this woman I wanted to be my wife.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so just to give you my full experience, when I was younger, I did get married when I was 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but a year in, she said, I think I got married too young, and we split up. It was pretty devastating. That's when I started going to therapy, actually. I didn't think I was ever going to get married again. I didn't think I was ever going to do any of that, which I think...
You were married for a year, just to be clear.
For a year, yeah.
Wow.
And I think if Red Pill had been around then, I might have been like, ooh, yeah, women do suck. Like, they're horrible. But I went through life. I continued dating. When I met my wife, I was like, man, I really like her, but I was cautious because it's like that same fear that you kind of, you feel like I've already been hurt. I'm not sure. I didn't know if I was going to get married again. But on our second date, I just was like, just go for this. Like, you feel it, go for it. It's worth the risk.
It is worth the risk,
yeah,
Rafael.
Yeah, I tell men initially, like, love is one of the things that's worth the risk. Like, even if I was like, you can do everything right in a relationship and it could still fail. Like that's a possibility, but that doesn't mean it's not worth trying. Like that's the lesson I learned in all of that. But I knew pretty quickly. So after our second date, I was just like, we were coworkers too. So I was like, this is dangerous territory.
Risky.
Exactly, very dangerous territory. But I wanted to be with her, so I just kept pushing. Yeah. And
I love that. Whatever that is, that feeling where it's beyond you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what this is,
right,
but I have to go with it.
Exactly.
And I feel it is important for a man to have that for you.
Yeah, I do
You know,
too.
it's important for the woman to have it for you too.
Yeah.
But I think my thing is, I feel like men should set the temperature.
I do too.
Because when I try to go over there to that thermostat, Rafael, and fix it and do all the things, it does not work out for me.
Yeah.
It does not work out for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is too cold, it's too hot, I don't know, what do you want to do? And it's just better if they do it.
Yeah. I think if you don't know what you want, you're kind of lost in the world. Like,
right.
So if you know what you're after and you're happy with it, go after it. I think a lot of men, especially with the options available today,
exactly.
they have this like, well, there might be something better. There might be this, there might be that. It's like, there's always a might be, you know, like there might be a better job. There might be like, there's always a might be. But if you really like what you have, keep it, go for it, maintain it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know what you want. And I think that's part of being assertive is like, I know what I want and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men have kind of lost that.
But the men who haven't, on that note, right? They know what they want. They're assertive.
Yeah.
I'm hearing from those men, though, that is scary to women now.
Interesting.
In the sense of, I think a lot of us, and everyone, not just women, are used to the flaky people, used to the ghosting. So when someone now shows up like, hey, girl, it's you. Some women are like, whoa, hold on there, buddy. Like, why? Do you know what I mean? So there's like the other side of it where the intentions, because we talk a lot about when men aren't ready, when women aren't ready, or this and that, but we don't talk a lot about is the fear of when someone is ready. And then you do have this moment where you're like, oh, well, am I ready? Because we have this list. We want this. We want a guy to do this.
Yeah.
Then the guy shows up ready to do all those things. And then we're like,
a little bit.
Maybe I'm the toxic one. Right? Maybe
potentially
I need to go back to therapy.
Potentially. I think if you're not dating intentionally, then it's going to be messy.
Yeah.
I think if you know why you're dating, if you're dating to be married, if you're dating for a long-term relationship, then I think you should be ready for those outcomes, you know, if that's what you're looking for. But like you said, maybe some people think they're ready for that, but maybe they aren't. And, you know, I think it really does matter on what you're looking for. Like, you need to know what you want in order for you to get that thing, I think.
Yes. And just being clear, and even being clear on the other end of you don't want to be in a relationship. Because I actually appreciate when men are like, I'm actually not looking for anything serious. I'm looking for someone to come over at 1 a.m. and eat tacos with me.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there too. Those are great relationships as well, but they're not like long term. But as long as everyone's upfront about it and everyone understands the situation, that's great. It's still about being direct and going after what you want. It's like, I'm not looking for something long term. If you're cool with it, let's keep kicking it. But if not, then, you know,
I find it fascinating, the compartmentalizing that people can do with those situations. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe once in my life I've been able to do that, but for the most part, it's like we hold hands, we're intimate. I love you.
Yeah.
That's Rafael wasn't ready. I'm like, I do. What is happening?
It can, I
don't know how to do it.
Well, I think the more time you spend with somebody and the more you like that person, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility. You start to develop, you start to like their quirks, you start to like their humor. Yeah, that can happen, absolutely. And I think, again, if your intentions are to stay short term, then you need to be aware of those things. But, you know, those can turn into long-term things too.
Yeah, they can.
They can, but it you know, it's a risk. You know, if you could fall for somebody. It
absolutely happens. And there's been guys that were handsome, right? And he's like, I just got out of something. I got 5 kids, 8 baby mamas, and I'm like, match.
5 kids, 8 baby mamas.
I'm like, match. It's cute. I'm like, well, he's cute. I don't know. We'll find out.
No, we'll find out.
And I'm like, okay. Drama. No, stop. I'm healed.
I think short-term traits are different than long-term traits.
Yeah.
There's things like, if you just want to hook up with somebody, it could just be physical. But if you want something long-term, it's got to be more than physical.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to this generation now? Because I feel like their idea of dating is so different.
I know.
Right? And intimacy is not a thing. It is a handshake. It is like we went to brunch, then I saw his penis. And you're like, how did that happen? I don't understand how people get there. But it's like, what is it going to look like in 20 years?
Yeah.
I feel like no one's going to care. Everyone's going to have an AI boyfriend at home, and then they have their human, fling situation.
I mean,
what do you think,
that
Rafael?
is a possibility. I mean, I can see that being the way, unfortunately. I think a lot more people are starting to feel like maybe single is okay. I think a lot of people are ready to be on their own. Women are making their own money now. They don't necessarily need their financial, life.
Yeah, you can have a baby on your own.
Exactly.
You can do everything on your own.
All kinds of stuff on your own. I do think deep down people still, because we're humans, still want a human companion. I think that's still something we all deep down want. I think it's going to have to, I think a lot of the online narratives are going to have to shift. I think that's where the heart of a lot of this, I think, is coming from. You open up TikTok, you're going to hear women say, "Men, don't even approach me. Don't bother me in public." Then the next video, you're going to see a woman say, "Why are men approaching?" And this kind of confusing thing is people are like, "Well, I don't know what to do." And this is why I heavily encourage people to stop focusing on just what you're hearing online and get in the real world again. Because I think if you start talking to people, a vibe, a sense of humanity is there. And that sense of humanity, I think, is going to bring us back to what we do as humans, which is partner up and start families and that kind of thing. But I do think dating apps are hurting us. I think Instagram is hurting. I think all this stuff is hurting us because you have all these options, OnlyFans, all this stuff. Guys are just staying at home with porn. They're playing video games and looking at porn and saying, "I don't need to talk to a woman."
Right, because they're getting everything that they need there. Right. And now I heard for OnlyFans, they have this, I don't really know the name of the technology, but basically a guy can then be like a woman and do all the movements, but it's not the woman. It's an AI of a woman and it's a guy doing it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So now things are really crazy. And I think when I've read the comments under these AI Instagrams, these men are talking to these women like they're real. "Oh, I can't wait to see you. What you gonna do? I can do to you." I'm like, to the AI?
Yeah.
What? People are responding. People are running these accounts, making money.
Right. Oh, it's so sad.
It really is sad. Did you hear about the guy that fell in love with the Chat GPT and they had to take it away?
I did.
I
did
mean,
hear that. That's crazy. He fell in love with just the conversations they were having, and it became I think he gave it a name, all this other stuff, and it's just I think I think we're just we've stopped living in the real world. That's really what it is. And when you're online, you can do all this stuff from your couch. You can do it from the toilet. It's all kinds of it's just
you really can.
Yeah, and it's much more effort to go out and start a conversation with somebody in real life. So I think the ease of it is making it very tempting for men. I think again, unless some of the online discourse starts changing, I'm not too hopeful in some ways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there are more people like you, me, and other men that are trying to help these young men as well. Because I think young men are hurting more. I'll say that because
tell us why.
The statistics are, I think I mentioned it earlier, but under 30, 31% of men are in relationships versus 64% of women.
Right. Okay.
So and that's the biggest gap we've seen in a generation. It's never been that wide. There's normally women are always kind of dating more than men, but not that drastically. So I think if we can help the young men figure it out, then I think a lot of that stuff, they're not going to be talking to the AI girlfriends. They're not going to be talking to the OnlyFans guy dressed as a woman, whatever. That's not going to be their way forward. Hopefully we can show them that it's much more fulfilling and enriching to be with a real woman than what you're seeing online.
And as cheesy as this sounds, some of it's just if we were just nicer to each other, literally, I think the world would be a different place because, some of these men that are just in their homes having these bad experiences, cold opens and they're like, leave me alone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus just like showing some kindness to people. And I really do lead with my heart, and I care about the human experience. And I really think about, you don't know what this person is going through.
Exactly.
Maybe just a simple smile will actually change their day.
Yeah.
Or just saying, hey, no, thank you, whatever it is, treating them like a person.
Absolutely.
Versus just pushing them away like they don't matter.
Yeah, and I think, reacting harshly to a man who respectfully approached, that's not the move in my opinion. However, I think there's a reason women react that way, and I think it's because a lot of men never handled rejection well. I think a lot of men become pushy, or they call women a name.
Oh, yes.
Like they start
well, F you, and you're like,
yeah,
whoa.
they're like, well, you're ugly anyway. It's like, well, then why'd you come talk to me?
Exactly.
It's just, that's crazy. But I think if men throughout all history had taken rejection well, I don't think there would be this harsh reaction. I think it would often be like, wow, this guy's really brave. Thank you, I'm not interested, but that was really brave of you. That's all. I mean, women have told me that, and it's like, I still feel good. Like, I still walk away being like, all right, I didn't get her number, but hey, like, she respects me a little bit. That's pretty cool. But men have notoriously not taken rejection well, and because of that, I think women don't feel safe when men do approach. So I think men kind of brought it on themselves. But again, if we can change that dynamic, if we can change how men see, women in real life, stop being so angry at women. That's another thing. Like, they're so mad at women. They're
so mad at us, Rafael.
Yeah, they're mad. They're mad at the
angry.
preferences. They're like, well, she wants a tall guy, so she sucks. It's like, dude, like, people can have preferences. Like, that's okay. There's nothing. You shouldn't be mad at someone's preferences. Find somebody that likes you and be happy with them.
Exactly.
But I think their expectations probably are, they expect to see this, they expect to date an Instagram model. They expect to date,
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they have these porn star expectations of what they're going to get in life. And because these women.
And intimately at will.
Right.
I'm not doing that. Right. And I'm not putting that there.
But these expectations, like because women aren't doing that.
Yeah, they are.
They get mad, and it's just like, that's you got to get offline. Like, the real world is so much different than what you're seeing online. And I know it's ironic because I'm an online personality.
I know, me too. I'm like, well, don't get offline too much now. Yeah. Still like and subscribe, comment down below.
Yeah. But be careful what you're watching online.
Exactly. Watch me and Rafael is what we're trying to say.
That's it. That's the message.
Exactly. Okay, so other question I wanted to ask you. What are some signs that women can look for if a guy is red pill? Like any phrases or comments or any questions should ask. One question I always ask is, do you like women?
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do they normally respond when you ask that?
It's very interesting because I've had men pause and they're like, and I'm like, and that's all I need to know.
That's a sign.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Or men are like, yes, I love women. Women are beautiful. We need women for, all the things. And I'm like, okay, great. But it is a very telling question.
That's a good one.
Or someone will be like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, and also, thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I don't know if guys are going to be forward, but you can even ask them something like, have you heard of Andrew Tate? Like, have you heard of, have you heard of him? What do you think of him?
Perfect.
Like that kind of thing. I think
Kevin
that's a good
Samuels,
sign.
Andrew
Andrew Tate. Myron Gaines is another one.
Yeah.
Those are, I think guys might know you're testing them there though, so they might even lie, because I know some guys are even changing their political affiliation online.
Really?
Yeah. Because they want to date. They want to open their dating pool, but they don't want to say they're like Republican or something. Oh. And so they say they're independent, or they say they're moderate, or
I've seen more independents. Right. You little liar.
Yeah. So I think even asking like some of their political stuff might even give you a sign, because I think more of the Republicans lean more towards red pill than I think, more liberal guys.
Have seen that.
But if you hear them say something about like sexual market value, they basically say women's sexual market value is higher when they're younger, and then as soon as they reach a certain age, their value goes down while men's goes up. Yeah.
My ex.
Yeah. Just think about things that your ex would say, like if there were any of these little like nuggets. I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Honestly, when a guy says females do those, but they say the word female, I'm like, okay.
They see you as a species instead of like as a person, as an equal in any way. Like, the minute I don't ever say males, I don't ever say that.
Exactly. But when females do this, or all women do this.
All women, that's a good sign too. All
accountability, women have no accountability.
Accountability is one of the ones. That's just a crazy.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign for sure is when they talk about accountability. And most of the time I ask guys to define what they mean. They can't. It's just women.
They just heard it online.
Yeah, they heard it online. It's like, what accountable for what?
Yeah.
I don't know. They just, women get to do whatever they want. It's like, okay.
Exactly. I know I got into a big argument with the ex about women hitting men online. He's like, do you know the amount of women that just hit men for no reason? And he just like went off. And I remember like a bell went off in my head and I thought, this guy is like, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And I continued to date him.
Yeah.
And that's my own issue. But yeah, I was like, what is going on? And I just started noticing all these little nuggets where I was like, you don't like women.
Right. I mean, I think there's also like if they complain about the unfairness of men and women is another thing too.
But what about me?
Yeah, they become bitter about, and men seem to think that women have it so easy just because they have it easier in the dating world.
Yes.
And that angers them in a lot of ways because they wish women would approach them. They wish women would DM them. They wish all this stuff was happening to them, but women get this attention. They get all the guys coming after them, and that makes them upset because now they have to compete and they don't like that. And they're like, well, women have it easy. That's another sign that they just are frustrated with, their life versus a woman's life.
And I say to those men, what color lip gloss do you wear? Huh? Cherry?
Or like men, I remember I asked this guy and I was like, what's going on with it? And he was like, what's hoflation?
What's a ho? Stop it.
Hoflation, like inflation, but hoflation. And I didn't know what it meant at the time, but now I've come to learn it's more like how many women are on like OnlyFans and how many women are like this, and they're like, oh, well, there's so many hoes now, and it's like, well, who is viewing it? Who's buying it? Why?
How you know?
How the economy is supply and demand, So if you guys are demanding this, there's going to be a supply. But they're blaming women again. They're saying it's women's fault that there's so many OnlyFans.
What?
And it's like, well, it's because guys are buying it.
There's a ton of men that want this content.
Yeah, if men stopped buying OnlyFans, there wouldn't be an OnlyFans.
Exactly. And I mean, during the COVID, I know they were cleaning up.
Right.
Like insane. I mean, like I said, if you look at some of these AI Instagrams and you look at the comments, the men that are, I mean, they'll have like thousands and thousands of comments. And I'm like, guys, she's not real.
She's not real. I see it sometimes. I see it on TikTok. It'll be like clearly a woman saying things that are like male talking points. And I was like, who is it? And then I was like, this is an AI.
This is an AI. They're getting so good, Rafael. It's freaking me out.
Yeah, and the men are like, keep this woman. She's, protect this
God,
woman.
protect her.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought of another red pill sign, body count. If they're talking about body count. Anytime someone says the word body count, they're probably involved in some of the red pill stuff.
In the red pill stuff. Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing here?
I know.
Like, seriously?
I know.
Body count? Like, okay, buddy, relax.
I know.
Relax.
I don't think I asked the partner how many partners they had.
Like,
I just never did. I just don't
What
care.
are we even doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, clearly I'm not a virgin, so let's move on.
Let's move on.
Okay? Like, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Like, I had some experiences. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You think I learned that move just now? Like, I've been doing that move for years.
Exactly. What are your thoughts around intimacy, timeline? Do you think that we're rushing it too much? Because I just feel like there's no value on it anymore. And that's my own personal belief. I always say, if you're in your hoe phase, live your life, do your thing. But like this energy around just like, I met a guy, we hooked up, whatever. And everyone's different.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that? And how does that affect a relationship long term?
I do think it is person dependent. I think, again, if you're dating intentionally, if you're like, I want something long term, then maybe don't front load the sexual stuff. Like, I think that can muddy the waters a bit. It becomes more of a short term feeling kind of thing if you're jumping in pretty quickly. I try to wait till at least like the third date if I'm like trying to be serious about somebody. But otherwise I'm trying that day or the next, I'm trying very early. But I think it is dependent on the person. My wife, she had a very adamant rule that she would only sleep with somebody she's in a committed relationship with. And
how did we take that Rafael? Love the honesty.
I mean, the stuff we were doing prior to sex was great.
Right.
But it was like, man, I liked her enough and it worked. I'm not saying it should be for everybody. She actually got that from, do you know the Millionaire Matchmaker, Patty Singer?
Patty Singer,
That's her philosophy.
Yeah.
No sex until a committed relationship. And I don't think that's bad advice if you're looking for something long term. I don't think that's going to hurt you in any way.
I agree with you. I have a guy friend where he's dating right now, and he's on all these apps, and women are just, some of them just throw it. But he's dating this one woman. He's taken her on like 6 or 7 dates, and they have never been alone together, public places, and he is like obsessed with her. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't figure this out. And she clearly likes him. Yeah. She's giving him all the signs that she likes him, but she's taking it slow. It is 1 date a week, which I'm like, oh my God, how does she do that? But like, she lets him make the plans. Yeah. She steps back, and then he like fills in that space, and he's like, I haven't heard from her. So he reaches out, and she gives him all the cues that she likes him. Yeah. But she has like made her line in the sand that like, no, until you tell me that we're doing this thing, this is off limits.
I don't see a bad
He's going crazy.
Reason for that. Yeah, it's maddening for a guy.
It is maddening for sure.
Maddening, but I'll tell you that first time is pretty nice. That first time is pretty nice. It's pretty good. Oh my God. It's like, I mean, you might not have sex like that for a long time because it's built up. And
this is what I'm saying. Yeah. How beautiful is that experience? Because then you know each other. You know some quirks about the person. You know their family. Like, it's so much more intimate.
Exactly.
When you take the time to wait a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it sets a different expectation for what the relationship is. I think it really does kind of set you up more for a long-term relationship versus if you hook up too fast. I don't know. It just kind of changes like something in your brain chemistry where you might not see it as long-term.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it here. Rafael, thank you so much for being here. You've been amazing. Tell me, what is the biggest takeaway you want people to get from your platform and what we've talked about today?
Yeah, I want to tell men that the red pill is mostly bullshit and there are healthier alternatives to dating, to confidence, so you don't have to be so angry at women. You can work on yourself and then women will find you attractive. That's what I want. And my book covers all that, the Attraction Handbook, and you can find me on Women on Men on all my socials.
Thank you so much, and we'll put all the links down below. Awesome. You've been amazing. Thank you so much, Rafael.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, guys. As always, don't forget, this is the place for the hot mess expresses and the black sheeps of love. Until next time, before you go, hit that like, follow, and subscribe down below. I'm Drea Renee, and I'll see you next time. Bye.